What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and it's the one you've been wanting to see. The full comparison between the Samsung S24 Ultra and the OPPO Find X7 Ultra. Let's go! So for a change, for potentially one of the first times ever, I'm going to start with some Geekbench and 3D Mark scores on both devices. Just for you tech geeks' satisfaction. The S24 Ultra kills it, particularly in the multi-core aspect, and then 3D Wildlife Mark Ultimate, again, smashes it. I've been saying since I tried the 8 Gen 3 chip on the Xiaomi 14 Pro, I believe was the first one, game changing. The best SoC in the game, and luckily the X7 Ultra has the same. So hopefully that appeased some people asking for some benchmark scores. That's as deep as I'm going to go, to be honest. Now, let's talk about some of the more exciting parts about the device, the display. Now, it's rare that I get a versus video that is so close. Like, I genuinely think by the end we might just be tossing a coin. So display-wise, both phones are now 6.8 inches. Yes, the Find X7 Ultra is actually about 0.5 of an inch bigger than the Find X6 Pro, and I like it. I am a huge fan of big displays. I am a particularly huge fan of displays that these two have, which are 1 billion colours, dynamic AMOLED, 120 Hz. But the key things here, and this is rarer than you would imagine, folks, is the PPI. The pixels per inch, the pixel density. So even though they're 6.8 inches, typically the larger the screen goes, the lower the PPI gets. Just as a rule of thumb, like your TV does not have 5 to 700 PPI, for example. But on the Samsung and the OPPO, both achieve 500 plus PPI. That's pretty game changing when you are zooming in, for example, when you're looking at your phone really close, reading text, documents, whatever it is you need to do, you're going to struggle to ever see a pixel. Now, the only area that I can see that is truly different is when it comes to the peak nits brightness. Now, I do think that anything over 2000 is overkill, so the Samsung's S24 Ultra at 2600 nits is plenty bright enough. However, the X7 Ultras goes to 4500 nits. I should say though, in reality, using both devices, as you can see here, and I mentioned this before, the new Gorilla Glass armor with that anti-reflective coating is actually something I never knew I needed until I had it on the S24 Ultra. So for me, my own personal opinion, the S24 Ultra just pips the display round purely because of that anti-reflective display. It is fantastic. The next thing I want to talk about in this versus is just the overall build quality of both. I am delighted to say that both are IP68 water and dust resistant, so go ahead and drown it for an hour and you're going to be fine. Technically 30 minutes at 1.5 meters, but yeah, you can swim to your heart's content. Both have Gorilla Glass, however, on the OPPO it's Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and on the Samsung it's Gorilla Glass Victus Armor. Apparently 70% more scratch resistant and shatter resistant. I ain't the channel to do drop tests, so don't expect that anytime soon. I'm just going to take their word for it, and I'm just going to go based on my experience. I've never had an issue with Gorilla Glass Victus or Victus 2, so I would imagine that Gorilla Glass Victus Armor is fantastic. However, in my opinion, not enough to give it a point in the build quality round. What might give it a point in the build quality round for me is probably going to be the titanium rails. Because of the titanium, you save a bit of weight with the Ultra. It has skinnied down a bit. And I can't explain it until you have it in your hand. But the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the S24 Ultra with those titanium side rails and the squared off while having a slight curve edges, it just feels more premium. Now I'm contradicting myself because I do feel that in the hand, the rounded corners and the rounded edges of the X7 Ultra feel more ergonomic. But from an actual physical feeling solid device, I think the S24 Ultra kind of pips it. But I am ultimately going to just give this a draw between both. To this point, folks, whether it be the benchmark scores, the chip, the display, the build quality, there is nothing but a baw hair, as we would say in Scotland, between them. Now we're going to talk about cameras, obviously, but there's another area that is important to some if you don't use Bluetooth headphones or if you find yourself that you want to use the external speakers of the devices. Here's how they sound. Over video, it probably doesn't come across, but both are super, super similar. If I had to give one a slight edge, I think on this occasion, it might actually be the X7 Ultra that maybe, just maybe, has slightly better external speakers. But I personally use Bluetooth headphones, so it ain't no big deal for me. There are a couple of features that the S24 Ultra has that the X7 Ultra just can't compete with. So I'm not scoring this, but keep this in mind when it comes to your purchasing decisions. The S24 Ultra has an S Pen built in. Now, whether you choose to use the S Pen or not is almost irrelevant, because the fact that the S Pen is built in and it doesn't sacrifice the huge battery, you may as well just accept that it's there. The X7 Ultra doesn't have stylus support or a pen built in. And software-wise, One UI 6 is the best Android software skin, in my opinion, probably ever made. And ColorOS is good. It's just not One UI. And a perfect example of this is the new Samsung AI features that they worked in collaboration with Google on. One in particular. The circle to search has been life-changing. Have you ever found yourself looking at a photo or a celebrity or someone and try to rack your brain who it is or what that product is or where you can buy that product? If you don't know the name of it, it is so hard to search. Or if you don't know the name of the person, it's so hard to search. Well, a simple press of the home button, if you use buttons, if you use gestures just at the bottom of your screen, long press, brings up the Google Circle to Search feature. Circle what you're looking for, And within seconds, as you can see here, it brings it up. Articles, shops to buy, references, everything's just there. I actually have found myself using this daily multiple times. It's so bloody handy. And the X7 Ultra just doesn't have that. Again, I'm not scoring this, but I just thought it would be, my duty to tell you about it. And now we come to the camera round, which to some might be controversial based on my camera comparison video yesterday, link in description. But I think we all just need to A, calm down, B, take a look back at my previous videos on other phones, and C, remember, any flagship phone in 2024 so far, or the back end of 2023, has been an unbelievable camera experience and still falls into my category of, do we need DSLR or full frame cameras anymore? I bring this up because I've had a few comments about the Vivo X100 Pro and that this is a better camera setup than the S24 Ultra and the X7 Ultra. Now, first point from me is I have owned and used and now reviewed all three of them. So I like to think I've had experience with them all, and I kind of know at this point, after a few years of doing it, what I'm talking about. The camera setup and experience factors a whole load of things. The X7 Ultra and the S24 Ultra are quad camera setups. They have 4K front-facing cameras. The Vivo X100 Pro has brilliant cameras, but it's a triple setup on the rear and 1080p on the front. When I am grading and judging my whole camera setup, we have to factor that in. We just do. The omission of a 3x optical zoom lens on the Vivo X100 Pro, so it goes from the 1x main all the way up to 4.3 optical with nothing in between, is a factor. I have never said that the Vivo X100 Pro doesn't produce fantastic photos. It does. The zoom on it is fantastic as well. I believe that it is on a par for photography and zoom with the X7 Ultra and the S24 Ultra. But that's where the similarities end. The video, due to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip and the processing of the OPPO and the Samsung, is better than on the Vivo. The versatility of both of these Ultra phones is better than the Vivo. That's all I'm saying. So please, calm down. You have got an amazing device if you've bought a Vivo. It's just not quite as versatile as these Ultra phones. Now, I've got that off my chest. You know who you are. Thanks for the support, but just chill. So, the X7 Ultra, the S24 Ultra, full camera comparison yesterday. Here's a little snippet of that. And then I'll talk about my overall opinions and who I think is the winner.
With tears in my eyes, I hold on to the fire inside.
Now, there's a theme to this video, and other than ball hairs, it's just how close everything is. For me, the photos, the zoom, the video is all so close. So what I have to base this on is the user experience of the camera app, the AI integration, the processing, and just, again, that ease of use overall. So for me, because of that, there is actually only one winner. The S24 Ultra, with the Good Lock Camera Assistant app that brings functionality with, and the Google Samsung collaboration with AI, makes the S24 Ultra not just better than the X7 Ultra as far as an overall camera experience, it actually makes it the best camera experience I've ever had. The S24 Ultra is now smoother to use, going from ultra wide all the way to zoom, than any other Samsung I've used. The shutter speed has sped up considerably. That 200 megapixel mode is now the same shutter speed as what your normal 12 megapixel mode was in the S23 Ultra. If you've got the S23 Ultra, you'll know what I'm talking about. Take a 200 megapixel shot, it's going to spin a few times. With the S24 Ultra, it's pretty instant. Now the X7 Ultra shutter speed is not slow, but hopefully you can see here in the video, the S24's is just that bit quicker. From default, stabilization in the camera app is better in the S24 Ultra. And I talked about versatility. With the S24 Ultra, you've got a 12 megapixel, a 50 megapixel, and a 200 megapixel lens to choose from with your wide shots. With the X7 Ultra, you've got that 50 megapixel lens, which will bin to 12.5 megapixels. I just think versatility-wise and user experience-wise, the S24 wins. However, both of these phones, and I'll repeat what I said yesterday, are the two, as in 1 and 2, best smartphone camera setups I have ever used. And I plant my flag in the ground with that. I've just told you that the Vivo X100 Pro is so close. And FYI, there's apparently going to be, in the next couple of months, a Vivo X100 Ultra. Fingers crossed it happens. I'm not entirely sure it will, but if it does, you can be damn sure they'll have a quad lens with a 4K front-facing camera. So we can open that discussion up then. Now, the last thing to discuss with these devices is the price. And again, if you look at it on paper, the X7 Ultra is around about £800 to £850 depending on the storage you want. The S24 Ultra is £1,250 to £1,400 depending on the storage you want. So on paper, the X7 Ultra obviously has to win on price, but as mentioned previously, there's a few factors that come into that. With my S24 Ultra, and if you pre-order right now, you're going to get a free watch, you're going to get money off, you're going to get double the storage, which all in all makes it a really good deal. With the S24 Ultra, you've got Samsung Care, warranty, 7 years of software support. Because the OPPO is not global, you're essentially just getting your 12 months of warranty, not from the manufacturer, but from WONDA, if you import from there, or Gizstop, Trading Shenzhen, wherever you import from. That's it. There's no OPPO Care you can get for an imported device. There's nowhere you can just pop to a local store and get a screen replaced if something happens. So you have to factor that into your price. And there's the obvious drawbacks of no Android Auto on the OPPO and no smartwatch connectivity, unless you buy a Huawei watch or an OPPO watch. They'll connect just fine. So price-wise, I am still going to give to the OPPO, but it's important that we remember the S24 Ultra has quite a lot more benefits for the money you're paying. And the trading scheme for Samsung is fantastic, especially if you're in the US. Some people were getting up to $1,000 for their S23 Ultra, meaning that their S24 Ultra only cost them $300, but they got a free watch with that, which cost $300. So really, they were getting a free upgrade to the S24 Ultra, which is just insane. Something you'll never be able to do with the OPPO. So there we have it. Let me know what you think. Have you enjoyed this full comparison? Did I go over everything you wanted to? If not, leave the comments or question down below and I will get back to you. To summarise, I am spoiled. We are spoiled with smartphones. These two devices have just leveled up everything. Now, if you're paying attention to the channel, you'll know that these two devices aren't the only ones I'll be reviewing over the next week or so. I have the Honor Magic 6 Pro and the OnePlus 12 coming very, very soon. I also have my Nubia Z60 Ultra, which is for sale, but I will be comparing it to all these devices too. So if you want to see more videos like this, smash subscribe, get me to 15,000 subscribers as quick as possible, and drop a little like on this video. Until next time.